it's Thursday, Kombucha Toast Thursday, where we rock it out, celebrate going into the weekend, and of course, like making sure that our hormones are staying balanced. Today I'm sipping on this Lavender Love Kombucha from GTS Kombucha, and it's just so cute. It's purple, it's pretty. I thought it was fun for this Thursday, and so excited to be toasting with you today. Today we're just going to talk a little bit about, what's going on with my cycle, and then answer some of the questions that you guys had sent in this past week. So I picked the top 3 that had come in because they came in at multiple areas from women all over the place. So these are definitely questions that you're going to want the answers to. So I am in my ovulation phase right now, so that is when your energy is super high. And when your hormones are balanced, we get to magically feel good about this time, right? Because we're able to just feel magnetic, we feel confident, we feel alluring, we feel sexy, because that's how nature intended us to be. Like, the world wanted you to feel good about yourself and to feel attractive so you could go out and be social and meet a mate to then reproduce. So that's why our energy is so high now. And this for me was a phase where I wanted to be in it all the time. I didn't understand why my energy would be lower later in the month. I was like, well, why can't I feel as great as I did last week? Like, I was flying high, right? Like, I was feeling great. And that's just the way that our hormones peak, right? So estrogen's at its peak, and that's just the name of the game. So you can check out my ovulation video that I posted the other day about just what's going on with your ovulation to kind of get more into what you can do in your life to sync up with it. But for me, I woke up and I worked out from home this morning. I really didn't feel like necessarily going to a class. Like, I know this time we feel like a little bit more social, but I had a few calls today and I was like, I just feel like kind of taking some me time this morning. So I fell into that and I did a bar DVD from home and then did a little dance workout. So each were 30 minutes, so it gives me an hour class at home. So if you've ever tried the Tracy Anderson method, I thoroughly love it. It's one of my favorite at-home bar workouts, and I love that she partners the dance cardio with it. So then I was able to kind of really release some of the excess energy that I have through the dancing and get that cardio in. And it's not necessarily going to a spin class or running that I might typically do. So just kind of breaking my body out into doing something different, and that felt really good this morning. And then for breakfast, oddly, all I felt like having was vegetables and fish. I know this sounds so weird for breakfast, but I had what I had saved for myself for lunch, which was the salmon salad, for breakfast. I know it sounds so weird, but I'm admitting it to you, because I was I totally had a salad for breakfast with salmon, and it's totally fine. I just felt like getting more greens in this morning. That's not usually normal, but I was I'm just gonna roll with it. And so that felt really good. And then salmon's really good for boosting your brain function and cognition. So I was cool. I was I could really just set myself up for the whole day. And then I got my greens in. But tonight my boyfriend and I are gonna do a date night. So I looked at him and I was let's do a date this week. I'm in ovulation. I was I feel just being in that lovey-dovey state, and I was let's just go on a romantic date where we just go to dinner and enjoy each other's time together. So that's what we're gonna do tonight, and I plan on, dressing up a little bit and just having a fun date night and just feeling good about going out and being out in my ovulation phase. And then I've been kind of strategizing this week on other things that I can be doing next week, because my energy stays pretty high. So I've been kind of setting some plans in place for what I can do of essentially being out and about and kind of breaking myself out of my comfort zone, because I can sometimes be too much in that space. So I definitely have to work at trying to push myself out of it. So my boyfriend went to college, he did grad school down in San Diego, so we're going to his old university to do a networking event next week. And so I was okay, cool, that goes on the calendar. And then we're gonna go to Wanderlust in San Diego on Saturday, which is, you do a triathlon. So it's not what you'd normally think of as a triathlon, but it's a 5K run, and then you do some yoga, and then you meditate. So those are the 3 activities that you do. And so I'm actually breaking him out of his comfort zone, and I'm really proud of him for saying yes to this, because he runs when he plays soccer, but he would not really do a 5K race. And then he doesn't really do yoga. He'll do some light stretches, at home, but like that's it. And he meditate, maybe for like 5 minutes. So this is really me helping him break out of his comfort zone. And so I'm really proud of him for, joining me on this. And I was like, we can just meet other couples, or we can meet, other friends that we can meet. So, we're still so new in San Diego. So it's just kind of a fun way to go out together as kind of like a partnership this weekend and, meet new people and try something new. So I made sure to schedule that like last week when I was like, okay, I'm going to definitely want to be out and about. So I definitely had to like force myself to put stuff on the calendar, because it doesn't always happen, right? If it's not on the calendar, I can't say that it always happens. So that's just kind of how I've been feeling. Energy-wise has been really good. No bloating, no like breakouts. So that means my estrogen is like, staying where it should be at. And then by sipping on kombucha with you, I definitely get to avoid any extra estrogen that the alcohol might bring. So we definitely enjoy having this. So now I'm going to answer your questions. So thank you so much for writing in. So if you ever have questions, women send them either email at laura@laurasherrill.com or message me via Facebook, or Instagram is also a favorite. So I'm just so excited to be able to kind of connect with you guys even if you're not here. So the first question was, I get super moody before my period and always snap at my husband. What can I do? So I know that game like all too well. So when we're moody before our period, it's usually because we've been saying yes to everybody else, right? And so we are so nurturing, we're so, want to take care of other people. But as we're starting to get our period, we want to be taking care of ourselves more. So it comes out to our partner or, our loved ones, and we get a little bit more moody about things because we are just so sick and fed up of not saying yes to ourselves. So if you notice that you're, snapping more, can you ask for more space, and how can you take time all throughout the month to actually say no to things that you want to say no to? The more we can honor saying no and saying yes to ourselves and what we really want, and even if that's space, even that's just taking a walk, maybe it's taking a break. I think we push so hard in our, ovulation because we have so much energy, but then as we're getting our period, our bodies want to take a bit of a step back and just kind of reassess like what's going on in our life, and your brain is asking for that time and that space to check in with yourself. And so we then get irritable with those around us when we haven't taken that time to check in. So really challenge yourself in the next month of how can you start taking breaks for yourself. So just taking like 10 minutes to journal your thoughts. What are you continually saying yes to on projects, in life and work or in your home that you actually want to say no to? So taking things off our plate is actually really great for our health. And you'll notice that you'll get far less moody before and during your period when you actually just take the time that you need. It really can be that simple. And it's just articulating that to the people around us, so then we then essentially aren't snapping at them. That definitely can help. So then the second question what are some good foods to eat during my period? So this is a great question because our body needs things differently when we're having our period. So we really want to warm the blood in our body to be able to then process out our period, essentially. We're losing blood. We're getting rid of the old blood to then welcome the new. That's what our period is really doing. So you're really cleansing your body during your menstrual week. So the more we can have warm foods, it really will help the blood circulation, so you then can avoid menstrual cramps and just really anything that's getting stagnant when we have too cold foods during our period. It's actually too jarring to our system at that time. So I think anything that's going to really bring you comfort, bring you warmth, so like soups, stews, to kind of say no to salads, say no to your smoothies like frozen fruit and stuff, and just really focus on warming foods. So roast your vegetables. That will just start feeling really good to you. And so you could even have a cup of bone broth before lunch and before dinner to just kind of help warm your stomach. Having tea after meals will be really helpful too. I usually try to do that because it just helps warm your digestion and warms your blood so that you can essentially be moving the blood along in the way that it's supposed to. And then seafood is really great, and sea vegetables, because it helps rebalance the minerals that we lose when we have our period. So if you really like fish, you can have those. I mean, it's like one of the best excuses to go out for sushi, right? And then get the seaweed salad when you're out, and then the seaweed wraps that come with your sushi. Like, it's literally such a great time to be able to make that excuse. But you would want to, at least if you're going to be doing raw fish, so doing it at lunch and not at dinner, because it's going to be way too jarring if your body's menstruating and just really is wanting that warm food and just wants that cooked fish and stuff. So hopefully that helps of what you can start shifting in your life to really have a calmer period. And then the last question is, I've been noticing acne breakouts when I get my period. How can I get rid of them? So you want to, acne is tough. So if you want to pay attention to where you're breaking out. So along the jawline, which is what most women might experience, is excess estrogen in our body, and it's just a buildup that our body doesn't know how to get rid of it any other way, so it comes out on our skin. So what really helped me was finding ways to make sure that I wasn't adding estrogen into my life. So by sipping on kombucha instead of alcohol, switching to all natural skincare products, that was really helped me maintain clear skin, because all those chemicals in the products that we use actually get processed out through our liver. And so if your body's working to process out these chemicals each day that we put on our skin, it then can't get to the extra estrogen or the hormones that we need to be getting out of our system. So if that helps at all, of just switching to all natural skincare products is so huge. I mean, women should be doing that anyway. We don't need those chemicals on our skin and filtering within our body. Other ways to pay attention to estrogen is when it peaks in ovulation, how can you best support your body at that time if you're then getting acne breakouts before and during your period. So drinking warm water with lemon when you first wake up, adding flaxseed to a smoothie, or to a salad, or to any of your dishes. You can even use flaxseed as a thickener in soups and stews. That will really help get out extra estrogen, because it's going to bind to the hormones and get them out of your system. And then really fueling up on cruciferous vegetables, so like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale. All of those things are really going to help your body break down this excess hormone to really balance it with progesterone. So once those two are in balance, things will start feeling really good. Another thing to pay attention to that will really help your skin is actually your stress levels. So when we have too high of our stress hormones, it can really disrupt the relationship between our reproductive hormones, and that could be causing things to be a bit off if you're being super stressed out, either heavy hitting in your workouts, having too many things on your to-do list, drinking too much coffee, drinking too much alcohol. All of those things can really rise stress hormones in our body, and then we might get acne breakouts before and during our period, because our body's trying to regulate itself, but it can't if our stress hormones are raging. So that's why being a balanced bombshell is really helpful, because you can then keep those stress hormones down and then keep your reproductive hormones stable, so that you aren't getting these breakouts. So I hope that helps. I loved answering your questions today and being able to just chat with you and talk about real life of what's going on and how we can avoid these symptoms. So visit me on my website, laurasherrell.com, or follow me on social media on Instagram, and we can just kind of connect in real time. It's always fun to do that too. So thank you so much for joining me today on our Kombucha Toast Thursday, and hopefully you try out a new kombucha flavor this weekend. The Lavender Love is delicious. I actually was kind of fearful of trying it because I didn't know how lavender would be, but it was just so good to be able to try out a new flavor, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.